Right, we're off and running with the first ever South Coast user group, and obviously, hopefully next year when we do the next one, we can do it face to face in a pub or hire out the brewery in Blandford or somewhere close by. That'd be quite nice.
Or in Tommy's garage. That sounded like a good idea. He's got homebrew.
Sounds cheaper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you don't know
see
what I
the
charge for it.
picture
You'll see.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, let's make a start. So I'm pretty sure we've all seen the agenda. So Kevin, you're up first. And I'll let you do your introduction. But it sounds like a good session on search. And Derek, you're up after Kevin, and then just to finish up with Tom on the teams and applications within Teams. Sounds like a really good session.
I'd say finish up with I'd say the headline act with Tom.
Indeed, save the best for last.
Tail off towards after the explosive start. We'll tail off towards the end.
I think it was more whoever got their agenda in first got to the top. But cool. All right. Well, Kevin, why don't I hand over to you? I guess you can. Also, you can share your screen.
Okay. Hopefully that's come through and showing a nice, slightly branded. Apologies. I did toy with reading those with grey hat beard ones, but it keeps our marketing teams happy to get the company name in there every now and then.
Name drop.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
So hello and welcome. I'm going to be covering Microsoft Search today, the what, the why and the how. And I'm sure some of you have used Search here and there, and you've probably even used Microsoft Search without even realizing it. So I'm going to cover some of the different elements to it and what you can do that you probably haven't seen before. First, a little bit about me, getting some badges in there just for Chris on this one. My name's Kevin McDonnell. I'm a solutions architect at CPS. We're a Microsoft Gold partner based in the UK. You can tell I've copied these slides from more international ones, obviously more UK focused. And I sit and do modern workplace. So Microsoft 365, SharePoint, Teams, Power Platform. I'm known as Jack of all trades, master of none, sadly. So even managed a bit of development in there. A blog at mcd79.com, not as often as I should these days, mostly because I also run a podcast, and we've had Mr. Huntingford as a guest on there. So we run the Grey Hat Beard podcast with myself, Al Erdley and Gary Trinder, and we talk every couple of weeks about the latest news across Microsoft 365 and Power Platform and Dynamics topics, and then we cover a particular topic. So last night we had Clarissa Gillingham on, and we talk about telling stories in the Power Platform. So give it a listen and let us know what you think. We're trying to beef up the YouTube page on that a little bit as well. So hopefully take a look at there. If you go to greyhatbeard.com, you can see more on there. I've been working with SharePoint off and on for about 15 years now, and a lot of that's been spent swearing about search and how you can find things and the fact that people can't find things. But at the same time, you can also build some pretty impressive solutions on top of it. We had a great intranet for one of the banks I used to work with, and it was all powered by search. There was huge amounts you can do with it, but you still get people complaining they can't find things and they just expect it to work. And back in the old days of on-premises, you had to manage indexes and work out why things weren't in there, why they were in there, and it's very complex. So the great thing is now Microsoft manages it all for you. But what do people actually think that search is? I tried to ask 40 people, and I tried to pick people mostly outside the SharePoint community who you would have thought would know the answer. At least they should have done. And then I took the responses and tried to get some common phrases, as you can see on the screen here. And as you'd expect, SharePoint and search came up quite a bit, but other ones like content and management put up. And what I loved to see was people as well, that it was all about people, documents and sharing and different things. So there's a few comments that came along that I picked out from that. People saying, I guess it's the ability to search for content within SharePoint sites, but that sounds too obvious. I mean, in some ways, that is a large part of it. A great one from Sharon Sumners, who runs the Cambridge Power Platform user group, who said, that's a fun question. It's everything from knowledge management to clutter management. I really like that phrase about clutter management. It's about finding your content when maybe your navigation doesn't pick it up. Some of my friends hadn't heard from me a while and found it a bit of a strange question, asking if I was bored. Maybe it's the ability to find items in SharePoint. And some were a little bit smug, and I think probably Googled or Binged the answer and said a service inside SharePoint allows users to quickly find documents, content, or people with a combination of search queries and filters. Now, I possibly should have asked what Microsoft Search was, but I kind of knew that people wouldn't know the answer. But what is Microsoft Search? This slide came from Ignite back in 2019, one of those last few face-to-face events, it seems. And it showed that Microsoft Search is about that same search experience, similar to what you get in SharePoint, but across everything. So whether you're searching for things from Bing, from Office.com, whether you're in PowerPoint, Outlook, Stream, Yammer, getting that same index, that same service, and the same AI services, all from that same place. If you're in PowerPoint looking for content, see the same when you go into Word or SharePoint. Looking to get your emails in Bing, that too. Want to find the last Teams message from within Windows? Well, that's coming in hopefully the not too distant future. Now, you may be listening to this and sort of seen some of the search and go, well, is it just SharePoint Search Extended? I'm sure many of you have either used SharePoint or come from a SharePoint background and know how powerful that can be and painful. But is Microsoft Search just that extended across other things? And the answer is no. It's actually built on top of the Bing technology. Does that mean that SharePoint Search is going away? Actually, far from it. As you can see from this slide, it's the build up from all the different search environments, whether it's from Outlook and the Exchange world, whether it's from Search Admin, or if it's from SharePoint itself. All those different search technologies feed into the central, formerly Bing-powered index that gets everything else. And as of now, you can also bring in your external data sources. So it's not just about your Microsoft 365 or Office 365 content. You can bring your own content into that same search experience. So when you're looking across those different headers, when you're going to Outlook, whether you've got old slides that you haven't updated, say Microsoft 365, apologies, I will get that at some point. But really, you can search and bring back those results all from the same place. But what does it actually look like? I'm going to move away from the slides and go into that really dangerous world of live demos. And here I've got a demo tenant here, just gone into the office.com portal. And if I click on search, first thing I notice is as soon as you click on there, you start to see results. So it's already got that AI powered services. It knows the kind of things you've opened previously, the people you've worked with, the sites you've accessed, and it's kind of going, yeah, you probably want to get into Outlook, or you probably want to look at the financial calendar. It's recommending things right from the off without you typing anything. If I do type something such as project, you get all sorts of different results. I've got project enabled in this tenant, so it'll bring back the project apps. I've got some custom apps deployed in here, so it's picking up those, it's picking up files, it's picking up sites. If I click on show more results, I can get even more of those. Start with all. Interesting there, I always forget it does that. It remembers where you were last within these different verticals. So I'm going to start with the all. And there you can see you're bringing back the SharePoint site, and I can expand that out. And it'll give me a bit more detail. If someone's put a nice bit of detail within there, it will help you find out about if that's the site you want to get. And interestingly, you can even search within this site. So we're starting to hear more and more with Microsoft Search about search within search. One of the things I'll mention later, but you will soon be able to search for a person and then search within their context. So if you know someone shared a document, but you can't remember what it was called or where they put it, you can search that person and then try and search for different documents and bring the data back. So making it even easier to find the stuff that you want to get. If I scroll down away from the sites, you'll see it's got different things like pages. We're getting back those SharePoint news pages that we can open in a new tab, and we can see when it was modified, how many times people have seen it. Where you get some of the nice stuff is looking at files. So again, you've got where it is, you've got that breadcrumb trail there, you can open it in a new tab. But you've also got a preview of the contents of that file. So this is a project requirements doc, and it's starting to pick up where in the file it's mentioning projects in there. If you hover over the doc, you can actually get a preview of the document itself. If you're looking for a file called project and project requirements, you've probably got hundreds where you've got those requirements that you've got access to. So knowing whether it's the right one, you might know from where it is, but more likely you're going to just have to do a quick browse. And I'm sure when you look through there and you see it says draft in big letters, then that's probably not the one you want. Or if that is the version, without having to spend the time to open it, there quickly from within search, you can see a little bit of intro into itself. Scrolling down, you've got all the things you'd expect with paging, so you can go through the different areas. You've also got along the top some filters. Now, the default filters you'll get from the main office.com page aren't particularly amazing. This is a demo tenant, so there's kind of all sorts of data and it hasn't got much there, but I can look at things from the past year. I can go back and look at any time and look at stuff that's older than a year, and you'll see it changes the different results there, but you don't get massive amounts from the main page itself. If we carry on looking at projects, you'll have noticed the verticals along the top here. So we can go and look at files. And if I know I'm looking for a file, I can filter and just bring those files back using these verticals along there. And I will come to these ones at the end a little bit later. But if I go into the filters now, because I'm looking at files, it's given me another option. So if I know I'm looking for a Word doc that's there as a set of, project requirements that's there as a Word doc, I can filter on those docs. So you've got a little bit more option you start to get with those filters that come in. You've got your sites there, and you've also got people.
Oh, hello, Paul. How are you?
Hello.
Not too bad, thanks.
So you've also got people there you can search within there. So you can see Irvin's a project manager and it's picked up there from the project side. Obviously, a lot of people are working on projects. If we pick another topic, maybe you spoke with someone in marketing, but you have a goldfish memory like me because you're getting older and older. It's depressing, isn't it? You can actually look for marketing and it'll pick up people who've got marketing in their job role. It's got people who've got skills within marketing. I think if we look at good old Megan Bowen, we can hover over there and we know that Megan's in the marketing department. So you're getting all those different bits of metadata all coming through from the that same search to help you find the people you want. Also, if you're on the people tab, it gives you the action. So it knows that probably what you want to do is get in contact with this person, drop them a mail, give them a call. Interestingly, it doesn't give you straight away from there the sending a message, but if you hover over them, then you can start a chat. So you can make that use of Teams, get in and contact them as well. See where they work, so which office they're in. I'll cover that a little bit more later. Still one of the pain points I haven't quite got working, but you can start to see the office and details around that. So you've got a lot within that search. So flip back to these slides. Now, given that you've got the search there, how does that look within SharePoint? Do you get the same sort of thing? Are we still seeing the same SharePoint? So we'll go back to the demo tenant again. And I'm just going to flip over to the Mark 8 project team. So when I search for project, that was one of the top results that came back. Very nice team site. You can see they're sharing the news on all the nice drones they're building within here. And right at the top here, hopefully you can see that, it says search this site. So when you go onto there, it changes this context depending on what you're trying to do. In this case, I'm looking for the site. And if I look for, say, requirements, it will bring back there all these documents, and you can see from the breadcrumb that all of these are within the Mark 8 project site. Most of these are files on that side. I think they're, maybe if I look for drone, you can see we start to get sites on there. If we look for, let's try Mark 8, I think that's the one that gives you a bit of both. So you're getting folders within there. You've got the OneNote that picks up the item. You've got the different pages. And again, you've still got those verticals, slightly different verticals, and they can be, these are the default ones. You can define different verticals for your own sites. You've got some access to put things there, which I'll show at the top level a little bit later. But you've still got that same sort of experience. Interesting, the icons, if I flip over to the last search and bring on files, you can see there you've got the project, the PowerPoint and Excel. You've got slightly different looking icons, so very similar, but there's some slight tweaks, but the content, the content you'll get back will all be the same on there. What's really useful though is that you're on the site and maybe you're thinking it was on, you're looking for that file and you're thinking it was in this site, but you can't find it there. You can expand that search very easily just by clicking on the breadcrumb trail and going for organization. And because I'm searching for Mark 8, we'll probably see most of those coming from Mark 8. Let's pick another search. Let's go for requirements again. But the context of this now is across all the different ones. So you can see there I've got the brand site. So I've got the Mark 8 project one. I've changed that context of the site. It's changed the verticals. I'm now searching across everything. But what's nice is I haven't moved to where I am. I'm still within the search screen, still within the projects, the SharePoint site. And if I close that search, I'm straight there. I haven't had to move between pages. I haven't had to move between different areas. Right there, still able to continue what I was doing with SharePoint. So you're not moving that you're not moving that main page at all. You're just moving the context of that search. If I go into documents, you'll notice that it gives you a little pointer when it eventually loads. There we go. That now says search this library. So that context changes depending where you are. And if I look for that again, let's carry on looking for requirements. I will find requirements eventually. And here it's just filtering those results for the library. Slightly different result set because you're looking at a document library. It's giving that document library style view, and you've even got some view options there. As you'd see with a SharePoint list, I'll give my tile view. So if I wanted to search and I wanted to find the document from that front page, I can use those tiles and get an even easier way of seeing it. I can even sort that. I can add. Let's have a look at the modified dates. Let's have a look at older to newer and filter that. You can use it a lot in the same way you would with a document library. You can get your search results coming back like that to make it usable. So it really is context driven. If we go up into another site, and a horrible feeling I still haven't remembered to add that in there. So I'm going to drop it on this one. If we have a look at work, that was the one. Now, this work site is a hub site. Hopefully you know a little bit about SharePoint, and you can have your main top level landing pages as hub sites, which then has a set of other sites. It has a common menu, common design across those. And if I went into the sales and marketing, you can see I've gone into a different site, but I got that same brand, that same top level link there. Now, while I'm in the sales and marketing site, I've got search this site. If I return back to that top level work landing page, you'll see that the text there says search across sites. And the reason is, as I search this now, for example, if I look for marketing, it will be searching not just across this main work at Contoso landing page, but also the other sales and marketing sites. If we go down a little bit, you'll see there's some other ones like HR's picking up there. So it's just searching across all of your hub. And this is a really big reason, as well as navigation, but to set up your hub sites so that people can search within those contexts. Again, I've still got the I can still go to that wider organization. So I'm searching within that hub. I can very easily use a breadcrumb to jump back. I can apply my filters and all the other good pieces here. And I can look at things I've updated in the past month. I have been updating some stuff in there and look at the different things there. So you've got that access to be able to go through and search in the context that you need to. Those of you who have been looking at SharePoint search for a while and using SharePoint are sitting there going, that's very nice, a few nice tweaks. I like the context side of things, but it looks very similar to things I've been able to do in SharePoint for many, many years. Is that it? Not much has actually felt like it's changed. And hopefully, for those of you who are starting to drift off a little bit, now is where the differences are. This is where you'll see what Microsoft Search is bringing. I'm going to go into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and under Settings, you'll see there's Search and Intelligence. Recently added intelligence on there, so I had to update a whole load of my slides from that one, which is always nice when Microsoft drop those ones on you. From here, you've got a nice dashboard that shows you what looks like your top searches, and those of you who look after the admin side are thinking, brilliant, I can get some across-the-board analytics. I don't want to get you too excited, because when you look at this, I've been using this tenant quite a bit, and I can see that there's only 2 search results, which is a little bit rubbish. And the reason is, if you hover on this eye, that this is impression data provided by Microsoft Search in Bing. What this means is if I go into this new tab, and in fact, I can do it straight from here, and I search for requirements. I'm using Bing as my backdrop. What you'll see is there's, if I search, I'll get everything, but I get this bit that pops up there, and says see personalized work results right on Bing. If I scroll down here, let's just accept that so you can see there, I can see requirements and I can see the definition as if I went to Bing or Google or the sort of results. But now I've got this tab along the top that says work. Because I've signed in with my account here, I'm signed into Bing and I'm getting my Microsoft search results here right there in Bing. Those same project requirements docs and the other ones that I saw on there are all available, and all the different details, and it even gives you some hints and tips, so you get a really good experience. Those verticals have become horizontals, but still give the same capability that I can look for people. So if you remembered something happened, you can't remember if it's internal, you can't remember if it's external, here's a way of being able to go and filter through the different results from right within Bing. And where this is particularly useful is because when you do a new tab, if you've got that Bing part there, you've got that search straight away, easy to access. That's the good news. The bad news is that these search statistics only come from people doing that. So if people are still using that search within SharePoint, within the Office.com portal, you're not really getting any analytics out from that yet, which I hope something will change for that. Don't know anything's coming, but it'd be really nice to get some more centralized analytics to come through. Just on here, I'm very quickly going to have a look at the configuration, and that's where you can enable the Microsoft Search in Bing settings, so you can choose whether you want people to be able to search from within Bing. You may want to turn that off. You also have the option to enforce Bing as a default search setting. If you really want to upset half your stuff, then you can do that. So have a look at that one. What I'm going to focus on more today for now is the answers. And there's some really nice points here. If I start with the acronyms along here, you can see you can define some acronyms. GHB being grey hat beard, for example. NSFW, never saved file in Word. It's not what you're thinking. And you can add ones very easily. So if I click on an acronym, and I always get this wrong, I think this is the MC South Coast UG. I hope I've got that acronym right. What does it stand for? The Microsoft, and I can never remember what the C is, South Coast user group. A fantastic user group of people in the UK and beyond. You can say where it comes from, so you can put a link of where you've got that definition, and you'll notice, apologies, I've stacked my screen so I have to lean slightly at the moment. You can either save that to draft or you can publish it straight away, which is what I'm going to do here, and you get that acronym at the. Well, I say publish straight away, it will take a little bit of time. As with many things in search, it will go through and actually pick up and get added to the indexes and take a bit of time, so I won't be able to demo that straight away. If I look at the status, you can see that you can add things in, you can see the things that's kept in draft, and you can actually exclude some acronyms. So if you wanted to remove some, maybe you had a periodic one, you can exclude it and bring it back without having to delete it on there. And you see, you can sort, you can look at the different sources. You can, if you've got a lot of them, you can search within this admin screen and add different things there. So really nice way of getting that. For those who come from SharePoint, again, the best bets are now known as bookmarks. And if we click on add, we can add a new bookmark. So let's call this again the South Coast user group. Put a URL in there, which I should have to hand, but let's just put grey hat beard in there for now, because that's where you should be going to find out all the favorite podcast details. Now you'll notice as I type, it's actually updating the top here. And you can see that as I type, we're getting the view as it's appearing on the top. And this is what people will see in the search results. So you can get an idea on what it looks like as you type it. You can add some keywords. So we can add user group on there. I'm just hitting enter to add that. If I search for Microsoft 365, if I search for great events, I can add those user group, those different keywords, and you can also add some reserved ones. So if I take user group off there and I add user group into this one, what this means is that no one else can add user group for any of these other bookmarks. So if someone searches for user group, you can guarantee it will only return this result. You can add some categories. These are really only there to help you filter and find things from the details. But as I scroll down, it gets more interesting with these blocks. If you have, say, Christmas coming up or various other religious events, you can actually get your bookmark to appear between a certain start and end date. Maybe you have an event happening and you want people when they search for that to get that bookmark. But as soon as that event's finished, just in case you don't remember to remove that bookmark, you can set an end date for it. Or you can set a start date. Maybe you've got something go live and you want people to know when that goes live. You can set the start date there. If you're working for a multinational, maybe that go live date only happens in a specific country. You can add it for specific countries and regions, and you can see the drop down of lists that you can add in there. And you will see the different languages coming through as well. You can add groups. So to find your Microsoft 365, your security groups, if people go in there, maybe IT will see one thing, finance will see a different thing. Depending on the device they're coming at. Maybe if someone searches for apps, if they're looking from desktop, you'll get one set of apps. If they're coming from a mobile device, you get a different set of apps. You've got targeted variations. So depending on how people look at it, you can change how it looks. And my favorite for all you Power Platform people, you can actually put a Power App embedded within your search results. So if you put the app ID in there, I'm actually going to jump out of this one and show one of the ones here. So for example, the Help Desk app here, if I click on that, you'll see it will actually show within the results the Power App loaded there in the page. You can see it's picked up the URL on there. I've defined some keywords such as help, IT, tickets, help desk. Let's go over and have a look at office.com and let's try and search for help. What did I say? Help desk, sorry. And let's have a look, and I need to remember to put it as all. And there we go. You can see that it's brought, by looking for help desk, it's brought back the help desk result. And there is the actual Power App starting to load. I'm getting the top part of it. If I click on Open App, there I can see it. And because I'm an admin, I can either log in as a user or as an admin. So I'm going to go in as a user and I can log my ticket. No jumping out to other pages, no going elsewhere. I can start to use that Power App, whatever it is, right there from within Microsoft Search. Makes it easy for your users. They don't have to go and read a page about how to do things, click on 10 different links, log in 5 different accounts. There, straight from the search results, you can actually get your Power App there doing things, logging a ticket, booking leave, whatever it is that you want. And they get the beauty. So all the time you spent your Power App is showing there straight away on the screen as well. Really nice feature, that one. Really like that. The other bit, and unfortunately this one doesn't have it. I looked at before, and you could filter by published and draft. You can schedule those ones. The final one here is another great AI powered one. If I filter on suggested, oh, it's actually added some since I last did this. Fantastic. Here are some suggested ones. So this could be things people are searching for, things people are doing. Obviously, there's a lot of people looking at philanthropy in this organization. Definitely not CPS that's coming through from that, but you can see what people are searching for. Probably more likely is people hunting for paycheck, people hunting for expenses. So it's looking at the results coming back and regular things that people do that you can add. So rather than having to get everything yourself, here's a predetermined, here's the bookmark to expenses. I can go and edit that and add a URL and put all the definition in there. And it's going to be driven by what people are searching for. It's that AI-powered intelligent way of getting search. And that really is some of the big things that you get with Microsoft Search. I'm just going to change that back to the publish so I don't forget that later. I'm going to do this in a slightly different order. Does it in a nice alphabetical, which makes sense, but doesn't make sense of the demo. A couple of other bits here where you have the bookmark, you're searching for a specific phrase. We know more and more people search for things by question. So, for example, how do I search websites? How do I book leave on there? And I can search for leave. If I go and show this on that, I search for leave, it will bring back that Power App, but it will also do slightly different is how do I book leave? It will actually give that answer. So if people are asking regular questions, then you can pick that up as a search result and direct them to the specific page as to where they can go and do the thing they need to do. If it's not a Power App, I mean, why you wouldn't have it as a Power App, I don't know. But if you don't, then you can provide that Q&A answer to people as well. And that's got the same capability of getting the suggested ones. See if it's got any interesting stuff. No, it hasn't picked anything there. But if people are asking regular questions, such as what time does the bus leave? How do I get a parking space? Just for you there, Jan. Then you can add those suggested ones and provide an answer to people directly from there. Look at the other areas, you can add some locations. So for example, the Asia Pac, especially if you're multinational, you can put in the address and you can see it uses big maps and you can get directions. So this is when they search for APAC, or maybe if they search, I've got some other keywords such as Singapore, Asia Pacific, Asia, they can get the different results showing up there. So really nice way of putting, rather than having to have a company page and link with best bets, you can put your locations and make it easy for people to access stuff there. The really nice one that, I'll be honest, I have been struggling to get to work in an effective way, possibly because I don't have any decent floor plans. I've downloaded a free one off the internet, but you can, where you have to find your location, you can actually upload a floor plan. And this is literally taking an AutoCAD file, a DWG file. If I click on that, you can see you can upload there. I've uploaded one file there. You define which floor it is on, and if you've got a posh office, which wing or zone it is. Go on to the next page. It will then extract from that file a set of locations. And you can see here it's got like ST15, ST09, the different desk locations. If you've defined those against your users, I don't remember when I looked for, I think it was Megan was ST01. If you've mapped those together and you've got a bit of magic and quite a lot of luck as far as I can tell, then it will start to map those people together. I'm just going to leave and cancel that. If I have a look for within here for Megan Bowen again, what you'll be able to do is, I believe, click on the office location and it will show you the map within that office and allow you to see where their desk is. So no bringing in what I know in the past, I spent, I think, about 9 months trying to implement a horrific tool from IBM to get this working. We never managed to get the sync of the different data from different places. If you have your data in Azure AD and you've got those AutoCAD files, you can allow people to hunt down your locations. I have seen it working. I'm desperate to try and get working. Keep an eye on Grey Hat Beard Bite Size on our YouTube channel. I'm determined to get this working at some point, and we'll put a video up there when I finally solve what the missing step is on there. But you can effectively, I've seen you can click in the same way you can click on the different locations and it will bring up a map. Now, when I looked at this the weekend, if I looked for Jubilee House, you can see there the results come back and it showed the map. It was also showing the map of the location, and just for demo reasons, that seems to have disappeared again. So still working through that, but the capability is there to put in your floor plans. If you have more time and certainly access to AutoCAD, you can define your own details and set that up. There's a great demo page on how to do it on the Microsoft Docs. It's just not working for me. So quite a few. Oh, the other bit I didn't show was if we have a look for example, define NSFW. There you can see the acronyms coming back and showing the results there. So really nice AI-powered capabilities. How am I doing for time, Aaron?
You're all good, I suppose. We've started a couple of minutes late anyway.
Okay, I'll crack on and go through a few of these bits. I'll give a high-level view of these because these start to get onto this slightly developer side. The key part to this now is that with the connectors, this is about the external data. It uses the Microsoft Graph, so you're pulling your external results into the Microsoft Graph, so you can tie it in with a lot of other things. So you can pull in your own data with that. There's 3 ways that you can create them. There are the Microsoft built connectors. So there's a few defined. I think there's 6 or 7 now that are predefined that you can just follow a wizard, click, very easy-ish to do. There are some that are built by partners. So there's a set, I think about 4 or 5 partners who are building some great ones. You can go to them, have a discussion, pay them some money, and they've got the pre-canned things. They will come and implement it in your environment and can connect to that. Or now you can actually build your own, and it's not too bad. So if you have your own custom applications that maybe aren't defined yet by Microsoft and one of the partners hasn't defined, you can even build your own connector and get these results. And I'll show that in a minute. The Microsoft built connectors currently, this was certainly correct as of last week. You've got your data lakes, you've got your SQL, you've got your SQL Server, whether it's on premise or whether it's in the cloud. The kind of Azure DevOps as well is now in there. So the Microsoft things you probably expect to find by Microsoft. You'll notice I skipped one there, which is if you have your own external website, you can also consume that. So maybe you're putting things onto your external website that you want people internally to be able to search. You can very easily connect up to that. If you have an internal media wiki as well, maybe you're running your own stuff. I mean, why you wouldn't use SharePoint, who knows? But if you do have your media wiki and haven't migrated that, you can include the search index from that with the click of a few buttons. And if you're using ServiceNow, whether it's for your knowledge management, whether it's for your service desk, etc., you can connect all that into the search results as well. So people would search for service desk tickets, have the details of that, come back in the search and click and open in ServiceNow very easily. If you're looking at something beyond that, you can see this is just some of the ones that are now available. For those of you who are unlucky enough to still have Lotus Notes, you can include that on there. You can include other ones that I've never heard of or seen before, such as Pyrobase, CMS, have seen and used Alfresco, so another great tool. If you're using Jira, if you're using Confluence, there are connectors, and you can go and see the gallery there. If you look for Microsoft Search and look for Connectors Gallery, you can go and speak to those partners and purchase a connector for that. If you didn't want to, if you have developers, if you have people comfortable, you can actually build this out yourself as well. And let's have a little look at what that looks like. I'm going to try and keep this a little bit shorter than I have before. If you go into the admin center again, you've got these connectors, and you can see I've defined a few of these already. So I mentioned the enterprise website. I've pulled the Grey Hat Beard Microsoft 365 Etiquette repo. We have our repo that's available off the Grey Hat Beard website. Go off the back of a show we had with Maureen Summers. We talked about the etiquette of 365 and said it'd be really nice if we had a single place where we could capture these. So we have, you know, how to do things, for example, in Teams. Should I create a Microsoft Team, a channel or a private channel? Lots of really good, not how you do things, but how you should do things on there. And it's the kind of thing that if people are searching for Teams, you maybe want those results to be able to be searchable. So what I've got in here, if I go and configure that, you can see you can give it a description. You've got a crawl on there, so you can see the last crawl, when it completed, how long it took, how many successes there were, just the one, which doesn't sound the most successful, how big the index is, how much has come back from that, what's been crawled. Maybe if I have a look at my blog, that will have a few extras on there. Yeah, you can see here the crawl, it's actually queried my blog post and got all the blog posts. It's followed all the different links through that. All I've done is configured and put mcd79.com, and it's followed all the links through within that site and added those to the search results. So if I click on McD79 and have a look for, let's try Power Platform. Then there's all my blog posts that come through, and I can click on there and it will open up my blog in a new window. For example, a few years old now, but my thoughts on Build 2017, I talked about the Power Platform, and it's brought those results from indexing that and picked up from the text there, all there as a nice vertical. Only thing that's not quite doing, it's not there in the all results, so you do need to actively select that as a source that you want to use, but you can bring those different bits in there, and you can bring your different context to make it easy for people to search from one place. You can see a couple of other ones there. I've actually set up a Twitter connector. So this one I've created as a custom connection. It's using Azure Logic Apps, that every time someone tweets on Collab Talk, a great community-driven event run by Christian Buckley, it will go and grab those and pull that into the search results as well. So there, it's not even having to index. It's not like on a nightly crawl. As soon as something comes in, because the Logic app will trigger based on that Twitter connector, it will add to the results pretty much straight away. It was still a little bit of time for the indexing, If we have a look at that, you can see there I've searched for Power Platform. It's still got that search result, and it's picked up from Simon Denton. I was a little bit lazy. I haven't put the link to that in Twitter, but it's pulled the answer from that tweet directly in there, and you can configure the different properties. You can render how that shows. If you have a look at my blog, I've got a bit more detail into how to go into that, and we'll be hopefully publishing something up on GitHub with a bit more detail on that as well. So if you're looking into that, hopefully some guides on there which can steer you. Also, the sample that comes with it, I think if we look for fridge, you can actually, this is querying a SQL database. So if you have a parts list, then you can look for all the parts. This is the fridge compressors, and it will tell you the inventory. You can see you've got the different formatting. You can pull different properties and render them in different ways. So you can get those different results coming through all within that same search. And I can jump between the different tabs. You can see how quickly, not too many fridges mentioned in the rest of this, but you can very easily move between those verticals and get those results all from one place. It's about that central hub there. Through the last few slides, the other thing you've got is, for those of you who maybe do a bit of development, is because it's now part of the Microsoft Graph, you can actually connect with it and develop your own things. You can either pull those results back and render them in your own way, or the recommended way is to use the adaptive cards. If you haven't seen adaptive cards, they're in Teams, Power Automate, really give you an easy way of getting those same results back that will look good on different devices, will look good in different platforms like Power Platform as well. And you can even integrate it with Q&A Maker. So if you hadn't put those Q&A into your search results, you could point this at an existing index and get even more on there. And if you're interested in that, I have a single page application demo that is pulling back those results and showing how to do that. So if you go to github.com/KevMcDonk, you'll see it's called the MS Search Bar within that. And that's using the graph to pull the results and it basically came off the back of someone saying, I like this Microsoft Search, but I don't want to use SharePoint. What options do I have? So we end up developing a little POC off the back of that. To wrap up now, what does the future hold? I mentioned earlier that people search was coming, so you can search for a person and then look for the different results coming there. A lot more coming of that with content. Power BI actually is now available within there. So you can search within your Power BI content as well. The other big area there is more skills and more AI-driven recommendations. So seeing a lot more of the AI recommending the kind of results that you want to come through. I think we'll see wide availability for the external connectors. I would imagine you're going to start seeing more and more of the open source community build up these connectors. So those partner ones will be fantastic to give you the absolute rock solid ones. But I think for the simpler and easier, you'll start to see open source ones creeping out there as well and seeing things pulled together as repos that will make available on there. There's going to be more hubs as well. Need to get this into the right order. So we know that Teams is soon going to be powered by Microsoft Search. And when you search in Teams, you're not going to get that awful experience you get at the moment. It will come through that same Microsoft Search results. You're going to see more AI. So when you use Outlook Mobile, you'll be able to search and use voice ones on there. Desktop search has been announced a few times. I don't believe there's a date for it yet, but soon when you search within Windows 10, you'll be able to get the Microsoft Search results coming up as well, and all the different ways to manage that and make sure you've got that context-driven details on there. And then the final one, Project Cortex. Many of you will have heard about this. It's about getting knowledge in your organization in a way that's easy to manage, and use AI to pull information automatically out of the documents that are there and make it easy to find, and the knowledge hubs that hopefully will come and be announced soon on there. And a lot of that is powered by Microsoft Search and integrated with that. So there'll be more and more announced supposedly by the end of the year. I'm hoping more to come from that soon. So to wrap on the final ones, the what? You've got that search across Microsoft 365 content, plus your own now with Microsoft Graph, and with all those AI services to find what you want and recommend what you might need. Why? Because you've got that one place, that one index to get your search content from across everything, and how you can access from that search box. You've got results from configuration, and you've got that development capability from Microsoft Graph. 3 different ways to get through and get your data out. I'm going to stop talking now, and I realise I haven't looked to see if there's any questions, but if you do have any questions, please do shout out. I can see Alex starting answers these like the best bets of old. I think the best bets are more about the bookmarks. So I would say yes, absolutely. The bookmarks within there are like the best bets, and you can have multiple ones of those. Where it's been extended is you've got those acronyms and Q&A, which do similar sort of functionality as well.
Sounds good, Kevin. Nice work. Do you know if they're improving on the custom web parts around search? Because I know that the classic SharePoint search was quite good in the ability to create custom refinement panels and advanced search, and the modern just seems a bit behind.
I think no is the short answer. I don't know of anything definitely coming. If you look at the PNP, if you go to pnp.github.com, there's some great work. Sorry, github.io. There's been some great work, and I'm suddenly forgetting who created it, but somewhere within there, the PNP modern search will give you a nice way to get that customization. You can use handlebars to, you can see here, you can change the results and render it in different ways. It gives you a great way of filtering that. However, that is just SharePoint search, so that's not pulling from across everything. If I had more time, I would definitely look to see if we can use the Microsoft Graph now to try and render that more, but I don't think it's quite there yet.
Cool. Cool. All right. Cheers. Thank you.
If anyone does any question, at Kev McDonk on Twitter, definitely give me a shout.
Excellent. Thanks for that. I guess if nobody's got any questions, we'll move straight into your session, Derek.